Hello, and welcome to 218 Time, a podcast by two guys with an approximate knowledge of many things. I'm Feats,
And I'm Tommy.
and yet again, we are not alone in the studio today. We have someone with us. Kelsey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hiya guys, I'm Kelsey, and I'm here to chill, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelsey is a longtime 218 roommate, and
That is true.
she's joining us this week to talk about some fun things that have been, brought up to my mind now that we're coming up on the official end of summer by the time this episode comes out. So, got me thinking about some of your past experiences that you've told me about, Tommy. Working in amusement parks.
Oh yeah, for quite a while I worked at a local amusement park that is near us, or at least nearer to me. It was 2 summers, which is a fair amount of time.
Especially with the hours that you worked there. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, 60 plus. Some weeks. Yeah, that was only that was all after I was 18 though, because before I was 18 they couldn't do that legally. But
Yeah.
yeah.
How does that work? I know where I work, I work in retail, and of course we have, people under the age of 18 working at the store too. And I know they're not allowed to work above 4-hour shifts.
Well, so basically, since I'm part-time, the way it works is before 18 you're just allowed to work a maximum of 40 hours, unless you're 15. I think it changes there, but if you're 16 or 17 you can only work like a maximum of 40 hours. But since I was part-time and I was above 18, they could basically give me as many hours as they wanted, and they didn't have to pay me overtime.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I worked, like when I say I work 60-hour work weeks, I worked 60 hours and I did not make overtime. So, fun. That was always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Big yike.
it sounded like you didn't really have a good time when you worked there. I mean, generally. Obviously, I'm sure there were positive experiences.
Yeah, so overall, it was not at all a bad experience. I think as a first job, it definitely was not the worst I could have gotten. In fact, far from it. Overall, it was like a pretty solid experience. I personally wasn't a huge fan just because, I'm not one for being yelled at, and that happened a lot with, with guests. But and I didn't even work the rides. I worked for the games. So I did all the games that everyone says is rigged, even though they're not, because they can't. If they are caught to be rigged, the park would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I did learn a lot while I was there, especially just about amusement parks in general. Mostly that most of the money from an amusement park that does have games in it, most of the money comes from the games. Probably upwards of 50%, which is a lot. People think it's just the food or it's just the admission. Nah. The amount of money people spend on games, ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, I once had a man spend over $100 on one game.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Oh yeah, it was $10 a play, which is already a lot of money. And he really wanted this one prize that was probably worth about $10. Yeah, he spent, I would say, the better part of an hour just playing the same game over and over again.
Did you get it? Did you give it to him? Can you give it to him?
You can't just give it to him. There are some games where you can kind of get away with that, and I would occasionally, but that game you really could not. So
Oh man.
That's
I don't even
heartbreaking.
think he got it. I remember he was kind of pissed
Wow.
at the end because he couldn't get it, and I was like, "What do you want me to do?" I was like, "You didn't have to pay all that money, my guy." There was one time where the game that was $10, it was a basketball game, and it was like a 3-point game, so you had to shoot behind the 3-point line, and depending on how many baskets you got in, you got a prize. And this one guy was being a complete ass and runs up and tries to dunk the ball And I'm like, dude, no, get out. He's like, what? And I'm like, dude, just go. Just go. And so he tries to come back and play again, and I was like, dude, you're not playing again. And he, like, was like, why not? And I was like, bruh, it's 3-point challenge, not dunk challenge. And he got really mad at me. He was like, you don't gotta disrespect me like that. And I was like, my guy, I'm being paid less than what I'd be paid over the border right now. The best thing you could do for me right now is fire me. Or get me fired, please. Nah, but as much as I have in the past, I don't know on this show, but in the past I have shown disdain from working there. It was not a bad experience. The people who like worked there were all awesome. I made some great friends there. It was, like I said, it was really just, I don't respond well to pressure, and a lot of the guests would put me under pressure, and I would not know what to do, and I would panic, as well as just like, because I would work such long hours, I wasn't able to see a lot of my friends. And that also, that put a damper on my summer. So I was like, I would rather get a job with different hours, I guess. That was where I was. And then, of course, all this quarantine stuff happened. So I wasn't happening anyway.
Not going back either way.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a great park, too. Like, I also love going there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great experience in general. I've been lucky enough that in my life I've been able to go to a handful of theme parks a couple times over my life. This particular one that we're talking about, like we said, it's close enough to us that I've been a couple times. And even though I'm not like a huge kind of thrill ride person, like I'm not the biggest on roller coasters and stuff like that, it's still just a very fun place to be. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. Hanging out there with your friends can be fun because you can goof around, and by goof around, I don't mean, just like destroy the rules of the basketball games or something like that, but, you're just having a good time with your friend.
As long as you don't give the workers crap.
It's a good environment.
Like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. No, they're great. And this one has a ton of dope rides, too, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been lucky enough to, as you said, Feats, go to multiple different theme parks in my life. That was kind of like a very go-to vacation thing for my family and I. Growing up, I was very lucky to be able to go to Disney World every year. We are part of their vacation club program, which kind of only adds on to us going more, I guess you could say.
I got you.
Yeah. And if needed, I can explain how it works, because a lot of people get confused by how it works, which is surprising to me.
I mean, go for it.
I've never heard of it.
So, the Disney Vacation Club program is, you buy a membership like you do with any other, vacation club that you enter. But instead of, getting, a place that's yours or something, you get something called points. And, however amount you pay going in, per year, whatever, you get a certain amount of points, which you can use towards hotel rooms at the Disney properties.
Mm-hmm.
This counts as all over the world, too. So, I can use them in, Shanghai or Japan or California, really wherever there is a hotel, a Disney hotel.
Establishment.
Yeah, I can use those there.
Could you use on one of the cruises?
That I did not know.
Yes, you can actually, if you have enough points, you can use them on the cruises. You can also, my family and I haven't looked into this because we never really utilized the points for this, but you can also apply those points to, the Adventures by Disney program, which is, where you can travel the world and everything, and, stay at various hotels that Disney either owns or has a partnership with. I think, we can use our points to stay at, various hotels in Boston if we wanted to, or other cities across the world. But yeah, no, it's a very extensive program, and I recommend it to anyone who, is interested in, I guess, living that Disney life, you could say.
Who's a nerd like you.
Yeah, who's a complete Disney nerd like me. But yeah, I think you get perks too, which is fun. You get a discount. I'm just rambling right now. Anyways,
I mean,
No,
yeah,
no,
no,
you're
like
good.
I didn't even know any of this stuff existed.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge. And even like the rooms, if for people who are like really interested when they're traveling to just not stay at your stereotypical like hotel room with like, 2 beds or whatever. Like the rooms we receive are called villas, and they're basically just like mini apartments.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so you have like the option of like a full kitchen if you want to. And they provide you with everything, like, dishes, cooking
hey, man.
tools.
They'd better. It's the mouse.
I know, right?
Will Michael Mouse hand deliver me a home cooked meal whenever I want it?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's room service.
All right, that's
Michael
that's
Mouse.
close enough.
What?
We're
like
formal on this podcast.
I just like Michael Mouse.
Isn't his full name Mortimer? His full name should be
No,
Mortimer.
no. He was originally going to be called
Mortimer.
Mortimer.
Yeah,
And
and then
then,
they were like, no.
And then Walt Disney's wife was like, ALMAO, nah, that's lame. Name him Mickey. And then it ended up being one of Mickey's nephews was named Morty, and the other one was Ferdy.
And now I know why you know this, because it always comes back to DuckTales.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I was lucky.
So I guess...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna continue. I was lucky enough to go to Disney my entire life, and I've also been to Universal and Islands of Adventure once in my lifetime, and then I also, unfortunately, went to. I shouldn't say unfortunately. I'm sorry. I also went to SeaWorld.
You could say unfortunately.
Hey,
Don't worry.
I watched Blackfish with my family, and we were absolutely horrified. Tears were shed. It was this whole ordeal. But then I've also went to like various, like I wouldn't say smaller owned, but like they're not owned by a giant chain company that practically
not
owns
the big
everything
names.
in this world.
I mean, dude, Storyland?
I went to Storyland a lot growing up, and I've also went to Santa's Village, which is like a Christmas themed park.
We can honestly, like, I don't even care. We can name where I work. But have you
I mean, hey.
have you been to Canobie?
I have been. I've been to Canobie twice.
Gotcha.
Ironically, my family and I were talking about Canobie a few days ago because they were watching Ray Donovan, the show, and two of the characters who are supposedly from the New England area were talking about how they used to cause like chaos or like go to Canobie. And so it took my parents like a solid minute to figure out what they were talking about, and finally my mom was like, "Oh, Canobie." But theme parks were such a big thing in New England. Like I never thought about it because you've had Coney Island down in New York.
That's true.
You had Coney Island. You had Paragon Park in, I believe it was Hull, Massachusetts, or Nantasket, Massachusetts, in that area.
Don't even know what you're talking about.
It was a really old theme park that my parents grew up going to. Like that was their like Disney and like their Storyland, Santa's Village, Canobie type thing. Like I've heard so many stories where like my mom almost like fell off the roller coaster there because safety wasn't a big issue back then.
Oh well, yeah.
That's not at all terrifying.
Yeah, she remembers.
It was
like
whatever time it was.
Yeah, like people used to fall off the roller coaster, like the big roller coaster, because like back then you didn't like pay for a ticket and like go on all the attractions. You kind of just paid per attraction. And so I remember my dad went with his mother and his siblings, and she like pulled out her like wallet to like give the guy $1 to like get a ticket, and the guy was like, "Oh, miss, you handed me too much. Like today it's like 25-cent day." And she was like, "What's 25-cent day?" It was like something like ridiculously low. And my dad said ever since they figured that out, they always went on like 25-cent day.
No wonder the park doesn't exist anymore. Holy cow.
Well, my dad growing up was in, your typical blue-collar family. Like, my grandfather was, like, a carpenter and I believe also a truck driver. Like, they didn't have the funds to plan any huge excursions anywhere,
right.
So...
Yeah, no, sure, that definitely makes sense. I mean...
Yeah.
They're expensive. Theme parks are expensive.
I can sit here and tell you right now, as someone who recently planned a trip to Disney with her friends. Ironically, during the whole, so before quarantine started, I was in Disney when it all went down. Like I planned a vacation, so I know how expensive it is.
Shoot.
And it was crazy. It was literally overnight. Like everything went down. Like day 1, everything was fine, everything was normal. Day 2, we started seeing like hand washing signs pop up, and like there was more sanitizing stations, hand washing stations.
That's
Wow.
surprising.
Well, the thing is with Disney, it's like I recently read an article in The Atlantic about this guy who went to Disney World to write this article, and he was like, it's literally like its own like Vatican City. Like Disney has their own like laws, their own like fire department, police department. It's basically its own city. Like they don't really go by.
It's owned by the mouse.
Yeah, it's literally all by the mouse. So like when
Owned
you
by
enter
Michael.
Disney property, like you go by their rules. Like if you get a speeding ticket, you get it by a Disney police officer. Like it's not through like, yeah, in the greater scheme of things, they are part of Florida, I want to say.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you commit a federal crime, you're still going to federal
Yeah.
prison and not Disney prison.
not Disney prison.
No, actually, I heard that if you get a ticket or something, and if you can find the hidden Mickey on the way to jail, you're free.
But like Disney can like kick you off. Like they can ban you from the property. They can like they can do all this jazz.
Well, I know what I'm gonna do today. I'm getting banned from Disney. Nah, I can't get banned from Disney. One of my favorite... I won't even call it a ride, but one of my favorite parts of an amusement park in the world is there.
What would that be?
What is it?
My favorite part of Disney is probably nobody else's favorite part of Disney. My favorite part of Disney is Tom Sawyer's Island.
Oh my god, I love Tom Sawyer Island.
It is literally my favorite part.
It's
And last
just
time I went, a whole half of it was closed, and I was bummed.
It's such a fun place to explore.
Yeah, the
You
caves
just
are
like
really-
let your Yeah, I love the little fort that you go in. And you
It's
like
one of the few places where people have died, you know?
actually that's false. There's a lot of places. I don't think we should get into that in this episode, but
That
there's a
and
lot of
the
places.
Carousel of Progress.
Dude, Carousel of Progress, every time, consistent assassinations.
It was not a great big beautiful tomorrow that day.
Oh. Well, I guess before we dive too deep into like favorite parts and stuff, I wanted to ask Kelsey, being I think out of the three of us, you're probably the biggest theme park buff, which is why I thought of you for this episode. I'm curious to hear what's like the appeal of a theme park for you. I mean, it can be Disney specifically, but just in general. Like, what is it about it that makes it so special and unique? I mean, I think a part of it, like you're saying, is that it's this separate world.
I'll be honest with you, I genuinely don't know the appeal of any other theme park but Disney. Like I get it in the sense that like yeah, it's a fun place to like, spend a few hours with your family. But I guess for me, because I grew up going to Disney like all the time, we kind of like built a life down there for ourselves. Like, we have like I said, like an apartment. We go out and we do things and we get lunch, at Epcot before we like, go and like take a walk around Magic Kingdom. Like, I don't know. It's just I find peace within I guess a theme park, and like just seeing I guess everyone have fun is the appeal for me. Like there's something to do for everybody.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
that's what Walt Disney, originally founded Disney on, was that he would take his daughters to like the theme parks around town, and he would always like sit there with like his bag of like almonds and watch his daughters go on the carousel, and he was kind of like, I want to build a place for like families to have fun together.
Dude, Walt Disney got that almond
Bro, I
water
was
from
about
the
to-
back rooms.
Oh, true. Dude, that's where he is right now. He ain't dead. In the back rooms.
But yeah, I guess it's just it's just a profound love for just the attention, specifically for Disney, because I can speak on it more, just the profound attention to detail and it's also like knowing that you're safe, because my parents like fully trusted like Disney enough to like let me go off by myself and like not do my own thing, but like go like pick something up and obviously like come back when I was pretty young, like I was like 10 or 12, because they just knew it's the most magical place in the world. But just like the security and I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just rambling now because I genuinely don't know. It just, it just brings me joy and I want to share it with all my friends. That's why I'm like telling everyone like we need to go now. I miss it.
No,
Like,
yeah, I totally get that. Sorry,
That's true, yeah.
my sister for my birthday bought me this spray from the Magic Candle Company, not sponsored. And they
unfortunately not.
sell.
But if you want to sponsor us,
Yeah, please sponsor them. Like, you guys are great. Like, they have all the scents from like the Disney parks, and they like put them in like these like bottles, like candles, and like Purell, and like whatever it's called, like what's it called?
Air freshener.
Air fresheners. Thank you.
do they have?
They have the turkey drums. The
They
drumsticks.
do. They do have the turkey drums, I
I don't
believe.
know. I don't know if I would ever want a candle to smell like turkey drums, but it's cool that they have it.
But like I got the scent from like the Beach Club Resort, which is my favorite resort. And ironically, it's my favorite resort because it just smells so nice in there. I don't know why. Just every time I smell it, just makes me so happy because it brings back a bunch of happy memories for me. So my sister got me a little room spray bottle of that, and it's great. Magic Candle Company, if you're listening to this, please sponsor this. Please sponsor everybody on this podcast.
Kelsey will become an influencer just to sell your product.
Just for the candles.
Just to sell that Disney merch.
Oh
Oh, you
yeah,
know it.
100%, hands down.
I mean, the more I think about it, though, I think what you're speaking to really rings true with kind of my idea because, like I said, I'm not necessarily always there for the rides for a theme park. I mean, I am. Like, there are rides that I love. I am killer at Buzz Lightyear to the rescue, if I do say so myself.
Oh my god, it's Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, you fake fan.
Yeah, but have you ever maxed out the points feats?
I have, yeah, have
I'm
you,
getting it.
Beats?
Okay,
I
okay.
have.
Alright, fine. I guess I'm just gonna get attacked here. Anyway,
I've never done it, but my dad has.
I
of course your
have.
dad has.
I have a photo evidence, I have.
You guys are nerds. Anyways, I really think you putting it. I like the way you put it of how like you kind of can build a life down there. Like even if it's for a small part of the year, you can go there and just be in this separate world and have this whole just life going on, I guess. I mean, look at all of the parks that are kind of coming out, that have come out in the previous couple years and that are coming out, or the parts of the parks. Like you have the Pandora that came out. There's the Super Mario theme park coming out. There's the Avengers campus. What's the word for it? Facility?
It's the command center.
Yeah, like that's coming. That's coming to Disney, and I think.
Don't forget like Star Wars.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That's the big one I was forgetting.
Oh yeah,
Galaxy's
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yeah.
And like all of these places that are immersive worlds, like I think that's becoming such a big appeal. And that's not to say anything bad about the other parks like Canobie or that we talked about, which is just a more generic, not in the sense of that it's like bland, but in the sense it doesn't have an overall theme. But
it's got a few themes, all right.
Yeah,
it's got the old town.
It's got the water park.
That's true.
All right, but I think you get my point that I'm
Dude,
trying to get at.
The water park has lore.
What?
Okay, so I did this one game, and I will unapologetically say it was the worst game. It's actually not there anymore to run there. If anybody from Canobie is listening, you know what I'm talking about. It's gone now, so I don't care about saying anything, but during my time there, they had like a thing from the water park, and I was reading through it. There was like lore behind, like there was like this like island goddess who like caused stuff to form, and I think she lost her daughters or something, and she can't find them. Like they didn't die, she just can't find them.
This is kind of hype.
Nah, dude, it was like a full lore. Like,
Not-
I spent a good solid hour just poring over all the stuff they had written, because like even the food bar there had lore. It was
let me
it was
clarify.
kinda
It's
dope.
not hype that her children went missing. It's hype that there's lore.
I don't think people were gonna get offended that a fake goddess is children.
Suck it, demigods.
Yeah, but yeah,
No, but that's commitment. I mean, we were talking about in our YouTube episode about like the SkyCorp channel and how it has this overarching theme that ties in all the little bits together. And I think we even talked about that a little bit last week with the Pagan series. How when you have this kind of backing thing that really doesn't, it's not that it doesn't matter, but like it's not necessarily, you don't need to understand it to appreciate it, but having it there just makes it so much more fascinating.
yeah,
Like when it ties everything together in these little random ways.
yeah. It was good stuff.
It's very good stuff. I love that. That's so cool. But yeah, I mean, I guess to bring us back to something we kind of started to touch on is what other iconic like theme park rides and locations are there that really stand out to you guys, that you really love, or that you find interesting for maybe the history or the lore or stuff like that?
Yeah, so I fell down this really just, I wouldn't say dark hole, but this very just really intense. I don't like soul see, like I don't know what to call it. I just
Deep dive?
discovered thank you, deep dive into just abandoned theme parks and abandoned projects, specifically by
Yeah.
Disney, because it was just so fascinating to me that something, I grew up loving and I thought I knew so much about, like I really didn't. Because lo and behold, like I'm, taking the boat to Magic Kingdom or taking the monorail to Magic Kingdom or whatever, and I'm like passing by River Country and Discovery Island, and I'm walking around Epcot, and there's like abandoned pavilions with like animatronics still inside that I'm sitting next to, and I just have no idea. Like it's just crazy to me, and I fell down like this, just like this hole of trying to figure out what was going on,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know if you
freaking
guys,
fascinating.
yeah, I don't know if you guys have any experience with that. Like I love watching like Defunct Land and Yesterworlds. Who else?
I mean, I know you've seen some of these videos too. I've talked about Jenny Nicholson on here before. She's uploaded a handful of videos about like the Buzzy animatronic, which is a fascinating caper to look into that was stolen from Disney by an urban explorer, potentially.
No, he wasn't okay. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get deep into this real quick.
Okay.
It wasn't an
Oh boy.
urban explorer. An urban explorer was accused, or like they thought an urban explorer kidnapped him. It was actually a cast member, an ex-cast member, I should say. He was fired. I don't know why, or he left. I forget. But he had a track record for stealing Disney property, like straight up from the attractions. Like he went in and he stole a dress off of one of the Haunted Mansion animatronics and like sold
That
it.
ride's great. How dare he?
I know. And like they believe he stole Buzzy, and I think they think he has been accused, and I may be proven, I'm not 100% sure of that, of stealing at least Buzzy's clothing
Right.
and his hands. However, I don't know if he like actually stole the animatronic, because the clothes were reported missing before the animatronic was. Because you gotta imagine, like, this animatronic's like 300 frickin' pounds. Like, this
Oh yeah,
is
those things
not
are
an
heavy.
easy thing to like move.
And he's
Like,
on
you
the
had-
smaller side of an animatronic, right? Like he's not that big
No, he's not that big at all.
comparatively,
And-
obviously.
Yeah, and he just like the hydraulic, like he was like set up, like the hydraulic wires were still functioning, and I don't know, it was insane. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want this to like drag out forever, but
I mean, the Jenny Nicholson video sets up the mystery really well, I would say. Maybe you disagree, but I think you liked that video too. Um, it
I
sets it up
did.
really well.
I forget who did a follow-up video, but there was a YouTuber. Oh, Offhand Disney, I believe, is the YouTuber who did the update video, and who I first witnessed talk about Buzzy and what went on. So I'd recommend checking him out and seeing what he has to say about it.
Yeah, for sure. Go check
Because
that out.
yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah. Also, you brought up Haunted Mansion, and I just want to say that the song from Haunted Mansion slaps. Great song.
Which one? There's like 15.
Grim Grinning Ghosts, I think. I don't know if that's the name, but that one.
You can find it all on Spotify. I can sit here and tell you right now.
It's the one that
Yeah.
goes. I like the one that goes oompa loompa doopa dee doo. That one. That's my
Dude,
favorite.
where's my Willy Wonka theme park? Need to make it happen.
I'm pretty sure that was the point of the movie, was that it was a theme park that you shouldn't go to.
I disagree, and at the same time, I think we should also make a Jurassic Park a real thing, because those two things would just be great. And I've learned nothing. They can't teach me anything. I've never learned anything from a movie. No, but it's a great song, and it's a great ride. I was just gonna say it has such a like creepy energy to it sometimes. I don't know, because thinking about all of the stuff in theme parks that has failed or been lost or changed, and a lot of the times it will just kind of be tucked away, and it's like, I don't know, it's spooky.
Yeah. Like, have you guys heard of Beastly Kingdom?
I don't think so.
Nah, I've never heard of it. I don't.
So, Beastly Kingdom was supposed to be like the second section, or not the second, but one of the sections of Animal Kingdom when it first opened. It was supposed to be a land dedicated to like the mythical creatures and like the animals you heard from fiction and just like your imagination and all this stuff. But there was supposed to be like two sides to it, like the light and the dark. Like the light was gonna have like a unicorn maze, and the dark side was gonna have like a dragon roller coaster. And it was gonna be built, and it was gonna be this huge project. But last minute, they realized that they had to cut either Beastly Kingdom or Dinoland USA, which is the dinosaur section of Animal Kingdom. And Bob Iger decided to cut Beastly Kingdom and keep Dinoland USA because at the time the movie Dinosaur was coming out. Do you guys remember that movie? It was like with the iguanodons.
Yeah, the CG movie in
Yeah.
like 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
so
no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you'd probably remember better than I do, Kelsey. Do you?
It's just about like this iguanodon who's like I think lost, and like they're being chased by, I forget, it's not a T-Rex, but it's like another dinosaur because they thought that I think they thought the T-Rex was being overused, so they didn't use a T-Rex. They wanted something scarier.
Which is fair. I can respect that. I mean, it's better than what Jurassic World did. So.
So they predicted it was going to be like a huge box office success, so they were going to like, capitalize off it, whatever. It didn't end up working out. And so when Beastly Kingdom was canceled and the Imagineers were laid off, they actually took the idea for the Dragon roller coaster to Universal, which then it became the Dueling Dragons, which then turned into the Harry Potter roller coaster.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's sick. That's a great ride.
Yeah, and then that got destroyed. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. But, yeah, Beastly Kingdom was supposedly in the works by the time Animal Kingdom opened. They were just kind of like, oh, like, phase 2 of Animal Kingdom, we're going to do Beastly Kingdom. And they just put, like, Camp Mini Mickey in there instead, which is, like, a character meet and greet. And I remember going to Camp Mini Mickey and, like, meeting the characters when I was younger, so that's kind of crazy. But they had, like, still little hints of Beastly Kingdom, still in Animal Kingdom to this day. Like, there's a section in the parking lot called Dragon. There's a dragon in the signage of Animal Kingdom. When you go into the front gates of Animal Kingdom, if you look to your left, like the left ticket booth, There's a head of a dragon there. They still left the dragon fountain, still like the rock formation still there, because they're supposedly have like a dragon fountain, I guess you could say. It's still there. You can see it when you're crossing the bridge into Pandora. You can see it still. It's covered in like moss and everything, but it's still there.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like those like lingering references to like cut content in games and stuff, where
Yeah.
I know that's something that Tommy we've talking about on the show before.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see that stuff because somebody, it's especially in this situation, it sounds like something that at least I probably wouldn't have batted an eye at. I would have been like, cool, dragons are animals, that works, that checks out, yeah, sure. But like knowing that is so cool.
And Disney does that all the time too. I remember there was a Winnie the Pooh like playground like they filled when they had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea at Disney World. They filled it up and turned it into like Pooh's play corner, which then that got destroyed and they built the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train on top of it. But they moved the like main center of the playground to the Winnie the Pooh ride. And in that main center of the playground, they actually carved one of the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ships into Pooh's house. So you can like go and you can see it as a reference to the ride that once was there.
That's so cool. I love that.
Also in Winnie the Pooh used to be Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
At least it's the good one.
And if you go into Owl's house, like as soon as you enter the doors, if you just like completely do like a 180 to your left, you'll see a photo of Mr. Toad handing Owl the deed to the location of the ride.
I like that. That's kind of dope.
That's so cute. I love that.
So there's like such like little like hints everywhere that you don't see because they hide it. Like I know Splash Mountain, when it was originally built, they had a college student from Florida State University work on it, and before you go up the big drop, you had this little chipmunk that just kind of like popped his head out, and it sounded like he was saying a chew, and he was actually saying FSU as a reference to the college student or the graduate of FSU that worked on the ride. So there's so many like little things that's like crazy. I mean, Splash Mountain's practically gonna, it's gonna be gone soon.
That's true.
Yeah, there's just so many little things.
Well, aren't they? It's not gonna be gone, aren't they? Changing its theme.
Yeah, they're changing it to a Princess and the Frog ride, which I'm here for.
Yeah, kind of dope.
I'm excited. Tiana needs more acknowledgement. She's an amazing Disney princess.
Like, as long as I get that drop, I'm down.
As long as that beat drops.
That's
all I need.
Nah, dude, as long as I just feel my stomach entering my throat as I fall really fast down a tube, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
My favorite.
I will say I don't know how recently you've been, Tommy, but the strangest ride I get kind of scared on is actually the Slinky Dog roller coaster.
I have nightmares about Slinky Dog every day, so.
Vaguely remember that.
The Slinky Dog roller coaster like literally just came out, so I don't know how recently you've been. But it's like when you go up, there's like this curve that like I feel like I'm gonna fall out of the ride, which is so scary. But like I know I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, that happens sometimes. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah, so no, I understand the feeling that you want to feel your stomach and your lungs, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I got that. No, like when everything jerks, your whole body kind of turns, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Look, I'm a frail boy. I don't need to be cheating death any more than I already am. My bones will snap in half if I even set foot in the what's the name of the ride? The
Stitch's Great Escape.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
one.
That's gone now too. That was destroyed. It was lost to time. There's a really creepy photo of the Stitch animatronic somewhere, I know.
Oh, that's so cursed. I know even with that ride, there's a really fascinating story that I learned from a podcast that's not all about Disney, but one guy was coming on talking about Michael Eisner's Disney and of how that started as just like a more generic alien ride, and it was like really terrifying.
No. Yeah, no. So you all know the movie Alien, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was based on it was alien extraterrestrial. It was absolutely terrifying, and it was mainly because Michael Eisner's teenage son like said to him like you need more like scary rides at the park, like stuff for teenagers.
Hey, Michael Eisner's son, shut up. It's Disney.
Michael Eisner was I'll sit here and say this now. He's not very well liked, I feel like among like the Disney YouTube community. Like every time I
Yeah.
watch a video, they just like trash him. And like I get it in a way. Like Michael Eisner was very known for his penny pinching ways, which I don't blame him. When you're in charge of like a huge company, like you want to make sure like it doesn't go under. But at the same time, there's been instances where I was sitting there kind of like, you could have extended a bit more money there.
Yeah. I know he's made some like controversial decisions. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was under his like supervision, or I don't want to say reign because that makes him sound like a tyrant, and that's not what I mean, but under his
Okay.
under his employment as CEO, I believe was when they created the studio that was like solely to pump out direct-to-video Disney sequels, right?
I don't know.
Because he was like mostly through the 90s and then into the very early 2000s, right?
I think so. Like Bob Iger didn't like
Bob Iger's-
recently take over, but he took
yeah,
over.
he's been going around for a while.
Yeah. But he's now stepping down too, isn't he?
I believe you are correct. I believe they're starting that process. Yeah.
Yeah, so Michael Eisner was the CEO of the Walt Disney Company from September of 1984 to September of 2005.
Holy cow, that's longer than I thought.
Yeah, that's a pretty long time.
Too long.
But yeah, anyways, the name of the ride was Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter with terror in all caps.
Fantastic.
And it was really scary. Like you were locked. I never went in on the ride, obviously, because by the time it came out, I was not born, and when it closed, I was like 3. So my parents didn't take me on that ride. But it was like
Could have
you
been
were
a
locked
formative
in this.
experience.
I know you were locked in this room, and like you had like this alien just like coming at you, and like it gave the illusion that it, like ate a cast member or like one of the employers, and
Kind of dope.
Isn't the premise that it's like you're like in the dark, you can't see it, and it's the whole like, oh, like things are being sprayed on you, and
yeah,
It's, like,
it's
drooling on you
like
and
that. And
stuff.
then they tried to make it, I guess I wouldn't say more funny, but like more child friendly by like lightening it up and making it into Stitch's Great Escape, which I guess is good, but personally to me, the entire like theme or just the way the ride went about isn't good. Like I didn't like it. Like being locked in a room with a restraint, like that just doesn't appeal to me, you know?
And you know what? That's pretty reasonable.
I don't know what you're talking about. Being locked in a room, my favorite thing.
Like there's a difference between being on like Tower of Terror where you're on like this elevator and you're moving, and then just sitting in a theater with a restraint on you and not moving.
Yeah, yes.
Like that's when I'll start freaking out.
That's when all the unused animatronics start coming out of the shadows.
Can't
Oh
wait
my
to
God.
meet you.
That's
Buzzy crawls out, bloodied, ready for revenge.
that's terrifying. No.
So
What's
I
up?
know.
I'm Buzzy. I'm Buzzy.
Meh.
Mah.
I don't know why he's turned into a 20s gangster. Yeah, see?
Mah. Buzzy.
And the sad part is about the whole Buzzy thing. Sorry to go back to this, but he was reportedly supposedly going to be saved for the
Yeah.
Disney archives.
Which is a place I would love to visit, especially after watching the show Prop Culture on Disney Plus is really fascinating.
So is
Because
Buzzy
there's-
like permadead? Is he like gone?
Yet no one knows where he is. I don't think.
Permadead.
I think they got his like hands back, maybe.
Oh my god. Imagine like
I'm
the person in
not
charge of the
100% sure.
the person in charge of the Disney archives just gets like a letter in the mail and they open it up and it's just Buzzy's hand and it's like, if you want the rest of him, you'll have to pay.
$30.43.
But I'm trying to figure it out, but I think the clothes were returned because the person who stole them, I'm not going to say who the alleged thief is. Yep,
Theft god is.
But the person sold it to an NBA player who was a huge fan of, Disney and didn't even know that he was buying stolen merchandise. And so I think he gave it back. And they sold him the clothes, so he obviously gave it back. But I don't think they know, like, fully where the animatronic itself is.
Is there a hashtag going for this that we need to, like, tag on this episode? Like, hashtag justice for Buzzy or something?
I don't know. I do know, though, that,
I miss my boy.
I know, it's
Bring him
Buzzy. I do know, I'm trying to think, that the person who is accused, like, posted a photo of, like, this dismantled Buzzy head on Twitter.
Wow, you're really helping yourself out there, huh, bud? I didn't do it, but here, let me show you this.
I think he said, like, I don't know how it, like, got into my hands. I don't know.
You weren't sure who stole it. It was me, Quarantine Tarantino. I stole it.
I stole it to fake the moon landing.
To fake the moon landing.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like, I want to see if I can find a list of everything this guy stole. Like, but I remember the main things were Buzzy, what he's being accused of, and then the Haunted Mansion costume. And, like, wigs, I think, too. Like, he stole, like, all these wigs. But, like, how he did it was crazy. Like, he snuck in. He pretended to be a cast member.
Ocean's 14.
I know. Like, I'm sorry. I cut you off, though, Feet, so go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, part of me hopes that he hasn't been found by the time this episode comes out, so that we're not just talking about something irrelevant. But the other part of me is
actually,
like,
how recent of a thing is this?
I think he was,
at least since early last year.
No, there was an update in February. I was just reading. Oh yeah. The accused, has pled no contest to stealing, in February of 2020. And avoids jail time, I think.
I don't know what no contest means.
It's like when you quit the Smash match and nobody wins.
No contest. Right.
It means that Buzzy is now he is now under no one's ownership. He is a free man.
He's just
finally.
he's like Marth with a gun.
I mean, how do we know that Buzzy's not out there in the wild living his life, being an independent animatronic?
The thing is, though, people think that Disney just, like, faked the whole thing. Like,
so he wouldn't get stolen.
I don't, like, people think that the animatronic is at the archives and just the clothes were stolen.
I mean, hey, prop culture guy, you gotta, Dan the prop man or something. You gotta get into that. Get on it. Figure it out for us.
But anyways, if you want to hear his sentence, the guy got 10 years probation and 250 hours of community service, in addition to over $25,000 in restitution and court fees.
Aw, man. That's him right now. He's like Swiper.
Zoinks.
This guy's young, though. He's, like, only 25, I want to say.
So what I'm hearing is our best years are ahead of us.
I mean, it sounds like we gotta do an episode live from an abandoned theme park. And return with a souvenir that we raffle off to our listeners.
Yeah, because that's exactly what we want to do.
Yep.
Which one of you guys wants to get convicted?
Woo!
Oh my god.
I mean, so I think we've covered the Buzzy topic. I hope he comes home,
Me too.
Come home.
Bring Buzzy home.
Buzzy, now I know
I was wrong.
I messed up. And now you're gone. That's not... Dude, that's...
Buzzy, come home!
Oh, they come in. That's gonna come to our mixtape. Just wait.
Yeah, we'll release some music eventually. It's gonna be good stuff.
It'll raise money for the cause,
Oh, for finding Buzzy.
Yes.
Or mixtape Free my man
That's
Buzzy.
That's the new movie also that we're also making, Finding Buzzy.
Directed by Quarantine Tarantino, who has Buzzy.
Of course. Of course. Anyways, we were talking about the kinds of rides that we enjoy and don't enjoy, and talking about the alien ride. I mean, any of these topics we're covering, you can, like we were saying, dive in lots of places to learn more about them. But in talking about the kind of rides that we do like, that kind of like, it gives you that thrill, maybe not so much for me, but for you guys, that physical feeling of like, you're testing death, Not really, but it's like, your body thinks you are.
I guess I'm much more of a fan of just like rides that I can like chill on. Like I love the Winnie the Pooh ride, mainly
Yes.
because I love Winnie the Pooh.
How do you feel about the horrifying, ever scary Small World?
I was literally just gonna say, my grandma and I would go on that ride multiple times every time we went to Disney. It
Yeah,
was
that seems
great.
like a you ride, Feats.
Okay, I see how it is.
Wow.
You're right, but I don't like that you had to say it.
I enjoy it mainly because it's a classic. Like it was from like that's not the identical one from the World's Fair, but it was one of the rides that Walt had a decent part in creating.
Okay.
So
Fair.
I will say it is kind of creepy if you like think about it too much. If you just sit there and appreciate the artwork, like you're fine. But I mean, I love that there was like a court case where this guy sued Disney for damages because he was stuck on It's a Small World for like 4 hours.
That would
Got
probably give me nightmares.
the song stuck in his head. But I just found it so funny that it was just irreversible damages. I mean, like more power to you, man. But I
That's
just found
great.
it really funny.
Well, yeah. So we've got a range of interests in rides here, I think, which is good.
I once rode the log flume ride at Canobie 15 times in a row.
Now, what made you stop after the 15th time?
Our bus was coming to pick us up.
Dang. So how many times would you have gone on it if you could have? What do you think?
Indefinitely.
That's just your fate from then on?
Yes, I love that ride so much.
Dude, I take back what I said about the abandoned amusement park idea. Not just for legal reasons, but probably for legal reasons. But also, we need to do an episode
on the
log
log flume.
Yes! Every 2 minutes, we just start screaming, and then we stop, and we're like, alright, so anyways.
And then we're like, alright, we're back in line, guys.
Have you ever, I know in Storyland they have a ride called the Bamboo Shoots, which is basically the same thing. It's a flume. But I remember that when you reached the top of the lift hill, they had these, like, broken pieces of bamboo just, like, singing a really creepy song, like, before you...
Bamboo World after dark.
But it was kind of haunting, and for a kid's ride and a kid's theme park, man, it was like, you're gonna crash. I'm like, thanks for that.
Bro, it's easy to crash on those rides. So easy.
Yeah.
Oh, you know it. I mean, so the thing I was gonna say, we'll see how this pans out, but with our wide range of interests in rides, I think we gotta make ourselves our own theme park, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
It's easy, anyone can do it.
I've done it before.
So, I think we need to come up with some ideas for a theme park and for some rides. I think we'd be geniuses, it'd be great. What hasn't yet been tapped in the amusement park world? What thrilling life experiences haven't been capitalized on? I mean, I think we need a ride based on standardized tests where it's another roller coaster. We're gonna have a lot of these, but every few feet, let's say, just to be generous, the cart gets stopped, immediately just stopped to a halt, and you have to answer a test question, and if you get it wrong, you are ejected from the ride, not in a safe manner.
Okay. And
Or you could oh, go ahead.
No,
say what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say you could do one of those trackless rides, in the sense that for the SAT one, you roll up to an answer, and if you don't get it right, you go one way, and then if you get it right, you go the other way.
Yeah, you have to choose like A, B, C, or D, and there's like 4 different tunnels. I like that idea actually. And like one of them, it creates like it's a smooth ride to the next question, and the other 3 you go straight for a little while and then you just drop.
Of course.
And then at the end you get your SAT scores.
But this does not count as a actual SAT score. Like, colleges will not accept it. We won't allow that.
Yeah, no. So if you did well, that's too bad. Also, there are hundreds of questions, as well as a writing and math portion. You will be on this test for hours.
You come to the park, this is the one ride you're going on if you choose to go on this ride.
Welcome to SAT World.
SAT World, baby! Oh my goodness. Let's see, what else could we capitalize on?
The 218 official roller coaster.
I assume it's just blasting our podcast in your ears the entire time.
It's like the Aerosmith roller coaster.
Yes!
Rock and roller coaster, that's my favorite ride.
Yeah.
That's my second favorite ride.
You have every episode of the podcast playing on top of each other all at once.
And you're going at 60 miles per hour for the entire thing.
You just hear feet go, welcome to 218 time, and you just hit the 60.
Yep, and then at the end, there's another quiz. I mean, not to keep coming back to the same well, but I think that a backrooms themed theme park would be fantastic.
That would actually be dope. And it like moves around and stuff.
Oh,
and instead of people working there, it's just people going around to scare you, and they're just like they rush you and stuff. SCP themed.
That's just Halloween Horror Nights.
Or Screamfest, yeah.
Dang.
The Anxiety Theme Park.
It's not like, it's not made to like raise awareness or anything like that. No,
it just gives you anxiety.
Yeah. There's a different...
like have a little booth to whichever makes you anxious.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have different themed rides depending on different types of anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, or it's just like the what if you said something wrong there roller coaster.
You're in the roller coaster and you just pull up next to a lady and she says enjoy the ride, and the ride somehow forces you to say thanks, you too, and then you zoom away. And you never get to see them again.
No, you see them at the end of the ride.
That's true. Oh.
Otherwise, it's a great ride, though.
Sorry, what?
I was gonna say, do you have any ideas, Kelsey?
So, I've recently been, or haven't recently, but in the past, I learned about the whole, like, family vlogger thing, and, like, people capitalizing off their children.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That's a big thing right now. So, what type of theme park does this create?
I don't know. Like,
is this
maybe like a haunted mansion experience where you're the child and you're being forced to perform for like the camera.
Do you want the Ace Family experience where like it looks fun and then it's really not, or do you want the Daddy 05 experience where you get screamed at?
Oh no.
Maybe there's like a walk around section where it's just people shoving a camera in your face.
Yes, dude. I'm liking this. And then you can like at the end you can like buy all the footage of you.
I was gonna say, I think we can broaden this out to just all the terrible corners of YouTube theme park. Because you pay people who go around the park and just do really bad and dumb pranks on you. If you're just standing there, they'll go up and they'll be like, "Hey, your shoes are tied," and then you're like, "What?" And they're like, "Prank."
Well, they range from that to what's it called? Hey, your shoes untied to hey, I just broke your phone and I'm not paying for it. Pranked, haha.
And
don't get me started on the beauty community section.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is there gonna be a beauty community part where just terrible drama the entire time you're there?
I know what it is. It's one of those rides, I forget what they're called, but you're in like a stationary seat in front of a screen and it like moves in front of the screen.
Oh yeah, one of those, like Soarin'.
Yeah. Kelsey, what are those called?
Motion simulators?
I think it might be I think it's motion something, right? Yeah. Anyways, you're from the perspective of a makeup product being made, and you get to see all of the illegal crap they put in there.
Or
No, this
what's it
isn't
called?
against makeup companies. Like, there's a lot of good makeup companies out there who put nice stuff in their products.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say was, it's instead of the rock and roller coaster, it's the James Charles ride, and it starts off with you just sitting there, and all of a sudden it just goes, "Hey, sisters," and you go at 60 miles per hour,
Wow.
and at the end it's Toddy Westbrook saying, "Bye, sister," and you leave. But yeah, I'm liking this this YouTube one though. This YouTube.
Yeah, I think
Theme
this
park.
is the one that would really get us in so much legal trouble. It'd be great.
I'm genuinely shocked that no one has built a Minecraft theme park already.
Come on, Microsoft, step it up.
Yeah, actually, that's a fair point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mario one does well, if a lot of other like big video game IPs kind of try and get in the running and like get something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that I think about it, there just aren't a lot of video game themed theme parks.
Yeah, because there have been not even like ride. Like I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was the ride based on Tomb Raider, but that was based on the movie.
The Fortnite, the Fortnite theme park.
It's dug like hundreds of thousands of meters into the ground, so when you enter, you have to dive in from the bus above.
and then you just fight.
Yep.
It becomes a paintball arena. I would actually go to that one. That sounds dope.
Minecraft would be good. What else?
I'm just surprised because Legoland has like a whole franchise of theme parks.
Yeah,
I forgot Legoland existed, and I've been there.
as have I.
I remember it's
water.
Yep, there was definitely some water there.
I know that I watched a video about Legoland. They like started opening up like, you know, like bigger roller coasters and like all this stuff, and I'm like, geez.
Legoland ain't just for little kids no more.
They recently opened like Lego Movie World.
Wait, they
I wanna
did?
call it. Yeah.
It's kind of dope.
That's kind of interesting.
I just looked up Super Nintendo World, and so it has been delayed indefinitely.
Ooh, awkward.
It's totally gonna happen, though. I think it's still gonna happen.
They have a photo of like Super Nintendo World next to like Harry Potter Land. It's so strange.
So is it gonna be? Wait, is it gonna be in Universal? I'm confused.
Yeah, it's in Universal.
Oh,
I mean, Universal, I think, is the company. Does Universal own Illumination Entertainment? Because if they do, they are in charge of the Mario movies. So.
wait, there's a Mario movie.
Yeah, made by the company. It's being made by the company that made Despicable Me movies.
That's kind of powerful. I hope Steve Carell plays Mario.
Oh my god, I would love that. Could you imagine Steve Carell's Gru voice coming out of Bowser?
I'm going to steal the princess.
Mario, you cannot stop me.
I'm just gonna say it now. I really hope that they go back to Mario's original voice for the movie, which was him as a Brooklyn man.
Oh yeah, I mean it adds so much character. There's dude, a Zelda themed theme park would be
That would be so
amazing.
cool.
If anyone is interested in the agreement between Universal and Nintendo, it's not that Universal owns Nintendo. It's just that they signed a contract and that says Universal has to produce attractions by a certain date to avoid losing the licensing rights to the Nintendo properties.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nintendo's very stingy about their things.
that's true. That's why we still don't have a Zelda TV show.
What do you mean, still don't? We had one. It was
Nope.
wonderful.
Nope, we've had no Zelda TV shows ever. in the
It was
history of mankind.
wonderful.
That show pains my soul. Actually, sorry, what was that, Kelsey?
I was saying, well, if Mario World does well, they might do Zelda, because isn't that their second most popular?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the only other one that could probably beat it is Pokemon, but even then,
Oh, well, but Pokemon, Nintendo doesn't have all the rights over.
that's true. I always forget that. That's very
Yeah.
true. I don't know, man. There's a lot of good stuff out there that I'm sure we're forgetting. Oh, I mean, is there anything else that you guys want to say about amusement parks? I know we could talk about it for hours and hours on end.
I mean, I don't got anything more to say now.
That's true. It'll probably come up again in the future, as things tend to do on this
Yeah.
show.
Like I said,
So-
I don't have any, like, super interesting stories at the moment.
Yeah, most of my experiences at Disney and all that did not lead to super interesting stories.
And all the technical stuff from working at one gets kind of boring if you don't like get.
Care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelsey, is there anything else you would wanted to bring up?
No, I'm also kind of in the same boat of probably in the future there'd be a lot of stuff I could talk about theme parks on. Like, I definitely would love to do another like deep dive into like more abandoned things.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Urbex
I'm sure there's.
episode.
Yeah, that could be like its own episode.
Maybe one day we'll get back to urban exploring, and if we ever talk about Disney, we'll have to have you back on, Kelsey.
I would love that.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed yourself. This podcast.
Thank you for having me on. I had a wonderful time.
It was a lot of fun.
Do you have anything that you want to plug?
No, there's nothing I would like to plug.
Okay, that is perfectly fine. For us, I'll just plug our stuff real quick. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 218timepod for updates and relevant images when we have those. You can join the discussion on our subreddit r/218time, and you can follow or subscribe on YouTube or your podcatcher of choice so that you know when new episodes come. If you do that, be sure to leave us a review. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it. Well,
yeah.
Thank you all for joining me.
Of course, and me.
And with that, Godspeed.
Our reservoir.
Bye.